This time on Impavidus, we check out our new freezer's consumption. We take a look at our anodes on our Brunton prop using a new underwater camera.
That's it. You're almost right on top of it. That's it.
We service the outboard. It's first serviced after 20 hours of use. We see the first heavy snowfalls on the mountains behind us. We take a real good look round the Marina, all the facilities.
Come under it.
And we take a road trip to Portugal, back over that bridge again.
One of the other things we've done is we have bought ourselves a Dometic 40 litre chest freezer. It's actually running on 12 volt at the moment because we're doing some consumption tests when we're not on mains power and we haven't got our solar cells plugged in, but we thought this would be a good test. So it's not an endorsement, we paid full price for this and had it delivered from Amazon, and it's made a world of difference because it means that we can prepare meals and freeze them and then not have to keep going to the shops. And it's currently located on our chart table, strapped in. And we're going to see how it goes. So at the moment we're running the fridge and the freezer, and we're drawing 3.4 amps there, I think. Yeah, 3.4, and when the green light comes on there we go up to about 6.8, which is well within the capability of our solar cells, but we just want to make sure that we've got the calculations right.
Our testing confirmed that our freezer draws 3.2 amps and our fridge draws 4.5 amps. The runtime on the freezer is about 50% and the runtime on the fridge about 30%. But freezers are more efficient if they're well insulated. So we bought some insulation and now we're cutting it out and fitting it like a jacket, because you can't buy the jackets in the UK, you can only buy them in Australia, it appears. But this will improve its thermal efficiency quite a bit, so I'm going to do this on 3 sides and the top. I'm going to get that fly. I'm going to do this.
I think it's going to get you first.
Oh, get me first, yeah. So all the handles come off and these corner pieces come off, so I put the insulation behind them and screw it down, and that should help make it more efficient.
Lots more of us love each other. It's
Are green.
Somebody's happy with their work.
There's copyright on this, we can't play it. What a wonderful world.
Well, I'd never recognise it anyways.
After more testing, the freezer now runs about 35% of the time when it's full. A big improvement. Now, it's always handy to be able to look under the boat without going into the water. When we were in the UK, we had a black and white camera that worked on, well, an old CRT screen. But we got one of these for just €12. We wanted to be able to check our anodes without taking the boat out the water.
Right, you were spot on. Like, you need to go up. That's it. You're almost right on top of it. That's it. Keep still.
We plug one end into the Mac and the other end we put onto a boat hook. We didn't need any extra software and we were able to see our anodes quite clearly. The camera has built-in LEDs so it helps to see under the boat. When we arrived in September the water was 31 degrees and it was, well, quite comfortable to swim under the boat while it was out in the bay. But now the water's down to 22 degrees and it's a bit chilly. So this thing will make our lives a lot easier for inspecting anodes and anything else under the boat.
That's probably the best one you've done.
We calculated our Yamaha Outboard had done about 20 hours of running, so it was time to change the oil and give it a quick service. Not a full service, just carry out the recommendations that Yamaha give in their service manual. Somewhere on board Impavidus there's a plug that fits into the leg of the outboard, but do you know what? We couldn't find it. So using the passerelle in its workbench mode, we mounted the engine and put its leg into a bucket of water with plenty of flow above the cavitation plate. Once the engine was warm, we turned off the fuel and allowed the carburetor to run out. It was then a relatively easy job to remove the oil, not through the drain plug, but using our vacuum pump that we use on the main engine on the Impavidus. While the engine's still warm, we flush it through with clean oil to make sure any contaminants in the oil are totally flushed out the engine. We then check and clean both the fuel filler filter and the main filter on the fuel system. Both of them are clean, no problems there. Using the service manual we identified all the points that needed to be greased. Yamaha's manual is really good. It shows you everywhere you need to grease, all the locations and what type of grease to use. I'd recommend before you put any new grease on, you wipe off the residual or old grease before placing new grease on top. Otherwise any contaminants, dust or grit that have got in there are just going to be encapsulated and wear down your parts quicker. I always find a small artist brush like this one is a good way to apply grease liberally but carefully around the right points. With all the appropriate grease points done, it's then time to fill the engine with oil. I always recommend using a jug to fill your oil on any engine. It just makes the job so much easier. That is, of course, unless you're filming with one hand and tipping oil with the other. And using this technique, it enables you to put exactly the right amount of oil in, but you still have to check it with a dipstick, of course. Now our engine takes 0.6 of a litre, so I've added 0.5 and then I'll just top up as necessary. That way I don't overfill the engine and have to take more out. Now it isn't necessary on this first service, but I'm going to take the spark plug out and just check it, because I think the engine's been running just a little bit rich. Always use the right tool. Don't try and do this with an ordinary spanner. You really do need a proper spark plug tool. As you can see, it has been running just a tad rich. As a quick guide, these pictures illustrate what your spark plug should look like or what the problem may be. Hope this helps. We simply changed out the fuel then and topped her up. We're not going to winterise the engine because we're going to be using it over the winter, and it only gets down to about 8 degrees here.
We are spending the winter in Miramar, which is about 10 miles away from Marina. Darsena 3 is very sheltered. It is the furthest away from the actual harbour entrance. We think we're in an ideal location. We're very close to the beach, and the bars and restaurants, should we need to go to them, are about 100 metres away. Even though it is winter here, it's 23 degrees Celsius today. The temperature at night very rarely drops below 15 degrees Celsius. It's hard to call it winter really. This is the view from Darsena 1, which is near the entrance to the marina.
Yeah, that's not my flip-flop, is it?
The view across the west beach to the mountains is spectacular. As well as being a marina, there are good facilities for motorhomes or RVs. Many of them spend the winter here too, and they've got a lovely view of those mountains. We decided to have a road trip up into the mountains. We drove up as far as we could, parked the car, and then walked up with the dogs to nearly 3,000 feet. Oh, it starts going down again. We've still got that mountain spot yet.
It's 3,000 metres up there. We have driven from all the way up there, as high as you can get, all the way down the mountain, all the way around to here, because we saw the motocross track down in the valley. Someone's been having fun with bikes. It's a beautiful, beautiful countryside. Absolutely lovely.
We were invited back to Portugal to go and visit our friends Chris and Angie on their boat Avanti.
It's the 4th time we've done this bridge now. We've come under it, gone under it, come over it, and now we're going back over it. Doing a lot of refurb work.
Perhaps it needed strengthening.
The river looks so pretty in the mornings, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Bye bye Portugal. Hello Spain. We've driven from all the way up there, as high as you can get. Thank you, Lulu, for your commentary.
Hey, I thought you were going to do a bit to camera. Hey. Didn't see them. I didn't see them. I'm so busy looking to see if they're open.
We make these videos for you. Please make comments and suggestions below. Follow us on Facebook, Impavidus on the boat. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Sail safe.
Bye.
Bye.